everybody! Today I thought we would do a quick little leaf rubbing lesson. It's so easy, but it's actually really cool because not only is leaf rubbing something that everybody can do, but I can teach you today how to figure out what group the leaves that you found belong to, because there are three main groups of leaves. There are three main types based on the veins in the leaves. So let's talk for a second. What do you think the veins in the leaves do? They actually have a pretty important job. It's kind of similar to what the veins in our body do. Our body's veins carry blood, right, around to our heart and away from our heart. The veins in leaves, they don't carry blood, even though this one has cool red veins. There's no blood inside of leaves, but there is water, nutrients. So that's what the veins do. The veins help carry that water and the nutrients to the parts of the leaf. Now, this flat part of the leaf here that we're going to do the rubbings, this is called the blade. And that's the same as if you think of the cutting part of a knife, that's also called the blade, okay? So the flat part is the blade. Now, I just picked a couple leaves out here around the blacktop, and this particular leaf here, this one actually is from my tree right outside of my front door, and this one has cool edge on the leaves, and that's called the margin. So I'm going to be sure to include the margin when I do my rubbing, just because that shows cool detail. And this one too, I don't know if you can see it, but it has like little teeth on the margin or the edge, okay? So we already know two words, blade and margin. So run out and grab a bunch of leaves and a piece of paper and either some crayons or colored pencils. You can try it with markers. Markers don't always work the best, but you can sure give it a go. Oil pastels work fine too. Whatever you got, see if you can collect those things and then come back and I will show you how to do rubbings. So to do our rubbings, we're just going to take one of our leaves, and I'm going to choose the side that I think the veins have the most texture. Remember that texture is the way something feels, so I feel that on the bottom, the underside of this leaf, that's where the veins are really sticking out, so that's where I'm going to do the rubbing. I'm going to put my leaf down, vein side up, then I'm just going to put my paper down on top of it, and I'm going to kind of feel where that is so I can do my rubbing. I'm going to use a crayon that I've taken the wrapper off of, and I'm going to hold it sideways and rub like this right over my leaf. Now this was one of the ones that have that cool edge or margin, so I'm going to try to include that here in my rubbing. And ta-da! How neat is that? So I am able to see the veins, the vein patterns, and some of the texture of the leaf just by doing a rubbing. So that was my first leaf. And now I'm going to do my next one. So this one, again, on the underside has the most texture. So let's see, I'll choose a different color for this one. Feel where it is under my paper. Do a nice rubbing of it, and ta-da, leaf number 2, so cool. And then just to change it up a little bit, I picked one of the long blades of the grasses that are out along the blacktop. This is where some of you like to build fairy houses. So I just picked a section of that because I want to see if I can show you how cool this is and also how we can see these details. So once more, I'm going to try to do a rubbing. These are a little bit harder because they have a really solid vein going right down through the middle. But amazing that you can get that cool, that straight of a line and a cool looking kind of rubbing, a cool texture just out of this grass blade. Okay, so I've got my 3 rubbings here now. I could do many, many more, but I want to make sure that we get to the part where we get to figure out what kind of leaves they are, because believe it or not, most leaves have veins that fall into one of 3 patterns, and it's so cool because all the patterns start with P. So the first one, we'll just do we'll go in reverse order, okay? So that grass that I did, That belongs to a category of leaves called parallel. And they're called parallel because the veins run up and down and they don't crisscross with each other. Most grasses fall into this category, and corn stalks, corn fronds fall into this as well. So these parallel leaves are a little bit harder to find. You probably will not find them growing on trees or bushes. You'll probably find them more in a singular method like grasses or things that have fronds. But see if you can find something that has parallel veins. You might not see it as much on your rubbing, but you can definitely see it if you look close up at the grass itself. Sometimes you can even like peel them apart, and the grass will just come apart in straight lines because it's coming apart with each of those veins. So that's the first one, parallel, okay? Then we've got pinnate. Pinnate leaves have veins that look like a feather, just like this drawing. This leaf that I did here with the red veins inside, pinnate, that's almost exactly the same as this example, right? Pinnate leaves are often football shaped, not always, but often they are. And they have one main vein running down through the middle and then a bunch of little ones coming off of that main one like a feather. Pinnate leaves are pretty common, and they're probably the easiest of the three types of leaves to find. They sometimes do have straight veins, like in this picture. Sometimes they're a little bit curvy, but either way, they're all coming off of that main vein. And the last kind, this guy, is called palmate. And you can remember that palmate because it's sort of like the palm of your hand. The veins all connect here in the middle, but we have a bunch of main veins that come off, just like the fingers on your hand. And then there's smaller veins that come off of those. And that was this leaf that I did this rubbing of. It has one, where the stem comes, it has one area that these veins are all joined, and they come out. I think this one has like 3 mains, I would call it, and then a bunch coming off of that. So this is palmate. Palmates are a little bit harder to find here in LA because they're often like maple trees. Sycamores, I think, are palmate actually, if you have a sycamore tree. But on the St. Matthews campus, I think we only have 3 trees that have palmate leaves. We usually do this activity in the fall, and every fall I'm running around trying to check those 3 trees to see if they still have any leaves on them for rubbings. So there you go. So do some rubbings from what you find at home. You can even do houseplants. Houseplants often have really cool vein patterns. And let me know if you can figure out if they are palmate or pinnate or parallel. All right, bye guys. See you next time.